it's Diana of Cauldron and Craft. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through some of the steps that I took to sew this dress from a pattern. It was my first time sewing a dress from a pattern successfully. The last time I tried it failed. All of the other things that I've made have been from self-drafted patterns, so I was really happy with how this turned out, and I really wanted a summer dress but also one that I could transition into fall. And I've actually already worn this dress to work, and when I filmed this part of the video I had worn it to work and I was so happy that I didn't want to take it off and I wanted to just wear it forever. So if you want to follow along, stay tuned. I'll be making McCall's M7950 pattern, View C, just a shorter version without the patch pockets with inside pockets. I had a goal to make this dress all in one day, and I did not do that. It took me a long time just to cut out all the pattern pieces and try to work out the sizing. So this was my first attempt at cutting out the lining pieces, which was from a thrifted bed sheet from Goodwill. And you'll see later on that this attempt was the first of many. I tried on the pinned together lining pieces based on the sizing that I thought I needed from the pattern, and as you can see it was way too big. So I ended up doing the fitting, I believe 3 times total, and this time that you're seeing now, which was the 3rd time, actually fit successfully. I was happy with how it was going to turn out. So then I set about cutting out the actual external pieces, which were from a thrifted curtain from Goodwill, which I think there was a fabric content tag on that curtain, so I knew that it was a cotton polyester blend. Either that or I did a burn test, I don't remember. I've had it for a long time, but I really liked the color and the woven texture of it. I promise I'm going to get better at filming sewing one day. Sorry, you're just looking at my shoulder. Here I am sewing the lining and the exterior of the bodice together. I've watched a lot of Rachel Maxey videos, so I didn't really need to read the instructions too closely for this part of the pattern. However, I was so excited to get the bodice together that the first time I did it, I didn't put the straps in. So I had to seam rip the entire thing and do it over with the straps. I somehow lost the footage of re-sewing the bodice with the straps in. And so this part is when I did the pockets for the skirt portion. I have always wanted to do pockets in a skirt and dress, obviously, and I've never been able to figure out how to do it, so I used my big brain and figured out how to do it, and I'm so excited with how it turned out. And now I'll know how to do pockets forever. In this part of the video, you can really see how I had to seam rip the hem that was on the curtains before to get the width that I needed. And I ironed the heck out of this to try to get it to lay flat, and it still has sort of a crease, but I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I like how it gives it a little bit of interest. From previous projects, I'm very familiar with gathering, so this is the part where I start trying to gather the skirt, and I moved to my living room so I could watch TV while I gathered. So you take the bottom 2 threads and tug on them gently and work that around so that you get the gathers. And now I'm pinning the bodice to the skirt with right sides together. And I think I did this wrong from what the pattern says. I believe it says to go ahead and sew the bodice to the skirt like this and leave the lining open, and then hand sew the lining under. I did not do that. I went ahead and pinned the lining under, folded it under, and just sewed it all together. It did end up a little bit messy, but I'm also not a hand sewist. And whenever you're doing gathers, whether you're doing it onto a skirt or with a waistband, you always want to pin the outside edges first so that you can meet in the middle and to make sure that it's the correct width and that it stays centered. And my cat Penny wanted to know why I was not paying attention to her. I'm sure she wanted to get in my lap, and of course my project was in my lap. This is one of my favorite things that I've learned how to do recently, is doing automatic buttonholes, and now I'm likely to do buttonholes on everything, but I think this is actual magic. As I've said several times already, I'm extremely thrilled with how this turned out. There are a few things that I need to tweak, like the gaping at the waist, and the straps ended up being a little bit too long, but I'll get to that eventually. I'm also really excited with the pockets, like I mentioned already, and I definitely want to make this pattern again, but I'm really tall, and this pattern worked because the bodice was already really long, but I want to make the bodice a little bit longer because, as you can see, it dips down really low under the arms and in the back, and I definitely want to make that longer next time. Overall, I'm really glad I gave sewing another try with a pattern. I was very discouraged after my first attempt. I filmed part of it and ended up deleting all of the footage because I was so disappointed. I learned a lot during this project about bodice construction and buttons and buttonholes, about fit, that I'm going to take into my next project, which I've already planned. I would love to hear in the comments if you've made this pattern and if you liked it, and what other patterns you think I should try. I would consider myself a confident beginner. So any patterns that you think would be great for me to try next. I live in a pretty hot climate, so this kind of dress I could easily wear probably into September or October with the cardigan at work. So I'm open to anything. I love any suggestions that you have. If you want to keep following my content, please feel free to subscribe below. And I am attempting to upload most Sundays, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.